Old Friends Net is now live and on the air, calling CQ, the Old Friends Net, which meets here on 3715 every Sunday at 6:30 p.m., Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday morning at 9 a.m., running AM modulation, amplitude modulation only, and we invite everybody to check in. You don't have to be a member or anything. Just throw your call out when the time comes, and we'll put you on the list and give you a chance to talk about your rig, and we're always interested in what you're running and what's new there in the shack and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and start the check-ins now. Call N4LQ.
KN4R.
WB4ARK.
N4IYQ.
WB4NKL.
W4KR.
KG4IUQ.
KJ4YEV.
I got Al. Who was the other station with KJ4YEV? It didn't sound like AM or anything. Did anybody copy that?
Right before him was IUQ.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, we'll just wait, and maybe he'll come back. KJ4YEV, and let's continue with check-ins.
K4VWD.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4AK.
I recognize KZ4B, but it ain't AM. Keep trying there, John. Next, please check in N4LQ.
W4MEC.
W4VLO.
KZ4B on the AM.
Good job. All right, let me go down the list here. KN4R is first, and then WB4ARK, KG4IUQ, or no, N4IYQ, excuse me, N4IYQ, Chuck, WB4NKL, W4KR, KG4IUQ, KJ4YEV, K4VWD, N4AK, KZ4B, and W4MEC, and W4VRO. Anybody else would like to check in? Call now. All right, I didn't hear anything at all. Anybody got any fills? All right, then that's it. And looks like a good crowd here tonight. The band is extremely quiet. Signals are extremely strong and beautiful. We're running the AF-67 tonight, driving the AL-1200. 350 watts carrier. The receiving situation is the PMR-8 in the shack, and I'm streaming with a brand new SDR called an RX-888, which is working out very well. This will be its first debut. And the loop antenna, a horizontal loop antenna, ladder line fed. It's been a beautiful day, 65 or so degrees. Went out and took a walk. yesterday had a nice walk and came across a beaver that was in the middle of the road who just wanted to be friendly, and he kept trying to follow me. And actually took my walking stick and scratched his back, but he was definitely not in good shape. He was, I didn't want to get too close, but he did reach out for help, and I didn't know what to do for him, so one of the neighbors stopped in his truck, and we decided just to let nature take its course, and today he's not there, so I don't know what happened to him. So that's the excitement for the weekend here in Shelby. KN4R, you sound really military tonight, Brian, and strong. KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. N4LQ and the Sunday Old Friends. This is Brian, KN4R. And yes, I'm on the GRC9 here, assisted by a little HLA 300 plus amplifier. Looks like I'm putting out something around 250 watts here. But copying everybody just fine, and it's been a great day here. My oldest son Matt, for some reason, lost power over in Denver for like 3 or 4 hours. So he came over and he helped me get all sorts of things, different receivers and different racks, and an antenna up and all sorts of things. So it was really, really good. And he said we should do this like every couple of months, and I didn't say no. So it was great to have some good young help here. So, and Steve, you've got a very interesting nature walk over your way. Snakes and now beavers. So if you took a picture of the beaver, send it on. I'd like to see it. So over to you, buddy. And how was the Elmac AF-67? I just couldn't make it because I had too much going on. WB4ARK in the group, KN4R.
KN4R, WB4ARK. Okay, Brian. And I'm still waiting on the photos of the German transmitter, which you were going to forward to me. Weather here turned off quite cool this morning. It was 42 degrees. I think it was okay, Brian. Yesterday, 20-degree difference at 7 o'clock, and it has been a very nice day today. The sun has been out most of the day, I think, except for maybe a little bit this afternoon, some high clouds, but nothing significant. So we're on the ART-13 today, and we have a little bit of power line interference. I think it's from the dry conditions we're having. Maybe the little breeze out there is blowing some branches against some of the lines close by, but not that close because all of ours are underground. But there is a road behind us where a single line runs to some houses that are on the cove behind us. So nothing to worry about. It's just kind of intermittent, and it isn't any big deal. So with that, over to N4IYQ, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, thank you very well. WB4ARK, N4IYQ. Well, good afternoon to everybody on the Old Friends Net. Certainly was good to see a lot of you this past Thursday when Cliff rode down with me to Spartanburg to the Old Friends Luncheon, first one we've made. So we'll make some more in the future, but it was a lot of fun, and enjoyed the Swap Fest out in the parking lot. And about 58 degrees here. Been kind of partly cloudy. A lot of blue skies though here today. I think it got down to around 42, maybe 41 this morning. I think they're calling for about the same in the morning, so it'll be a little bit cooler week, which we've quite enjoyed. we're on the AF-68 transmitting and running the PMR-8 as the receiver, driving the SB-220 and double bazooka antenna. But like I say, a lot of fun seeing a lot of you guys. Hope to see more of you, and we'll make it down again. Down to my cohort and navigator and neighbor, WB4NKL and 4IYQ. Go ahead, Cliff.
And N4IYQ, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Chuck. Sounding good. Everybody's blasting in here tonight. Good signals. And add to what Chuck said, that we did have a good time at the luncheon down there. So we'll try to do that one again. I'd done it, but it's been back before I retired, about 10 years ago since I'd been to one, and I would have went to the wrong place. I would have went to to where Ryan's is at, I guess. Because when Chuck turned to the left, I didn't quite recognize anything. We had Chuck seen 38 here this morning about 7 o'clock, and see a little bit of touch of frost around. So that time of year's coming. It's didn't warm up a whole lot. I went for a walk and wore a jacket today. The first time I've had to do that in a while. So we'll send it on around. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR, it's WB4NKL.
Yeah, okay, Cliff. WB4NKL. W4KR. Wow, you're rocking in this evening. In fact, everybody's pushing the S-meter way up there. Won't give a bunch of readings, but everybody's Q5 plus a whole bunch. Buddy, I've got a question for you. I was sitting here watching the ART-13 on the pan adapter, and boy, that pattern looks good. Buddy, get ready to grab it for a second. What kind of a mic are you using on the ART-13, buddy? Go ahead.
Amplified D104.
Attaboy. The all-time favorite. Use it anywhere. Makes anything sound good. Real good quality. Simulance is excellent. It's getting up there, filling out the bandwidth just about right. Is right, in fact. Looks good. Sounds good. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon. If I didn't say that before, let's see. It's 64 here right now. And it was in the upper 50s, 59, I think, early this morning, about 6 o'clock, and it went up close to 70, and then it's dropping back down again as the sun goes down. All's well here. Copying everybody. Everybody sounds good. With that, let's see. Mark, here it comes. KG4IYQ, W4KR.
Thank you very much. This is KG4IUQ, Mark and Shelby. I'm using my multi-Elmac AF-68 with the PMR-8 receiver. I'm doing an experimental DDS VFO rig, and I'm hoping that my modulation, I'm hoping it's okay. I'm gonna ask Steve briefly, is my modulation okay, and then I'll carry on with it here.
Your modulation is excellent. Go ahead there, Mark.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's kind of hard to get that right. I'm gonna have to figure out a way where I can actually see on some kind of scope what it's doing. But I like to hear some kind of reports about my sound. Right now I'm using this DDS VFO. I have a ferrite transformer on here because for some reason voltage wasn't high enough on 80 meters. And I've got ferrites ordered. I'm gonna see if I can make this thing work on all the bands. But it's been cool. I've been really happy that the fall weather is coming in. It's really helping me because I won't have to mow the grass. I've been putting out fall garden. Kind of a nice thing. Not as many insects out there at this time of year, and I'm hoping I can grow me some cabbage and some other vegetables. So I'd like to hear a few reception reports. What I'm hearing is good. I don't know why, but I hear a tone in Steve's transmission, but I didn't hear it the last time. And I don't know if it's coming from something I have going on here or not. And Brian, KN4R, you sounding good. Buddy, ARK, very clear. I noticed it's a very clear sound on Buddy's radio there with the ART13. And N4IYQ with the AF-68 and PMR8, you sounding good. NKL, Cliff, you sounding good. Stan, W4KR, you're sounding very good. I'm going to turn it over now to Al, KJ4YEV.
KG4IEQ in the group. This is KJ4YEV. Nice and sunny and 60 degrees here in Gastonia. It's been a beautiful fall day. Fall is definitely in the air. I'm kicking myself for not going to the Rock Hill Ham Fest yesterday. I usually go to that, and I got lazy and hung around the house yesterday and didn't make it, but it would have been a really good day to go. Nice and cool, but not hot at all. So I'm wondering if anybody here did go, and how was it if you did? So I'll keep this going. It goes to Lee, K4VWD from KJ4YEV.
All right, this is K4VWD. It's 64 degrees and the sun's setting, but partly cloudy, I would say. Thanks, Steve, for working on this rig. I hope it sounds all right. I would appreciate an audio report. I may be hitting it a little hard. I don't know, but y'all tell me whether I've got it about right or not. And thank you for fixing this radio and cleaning it up. I am finally using my #1 rig, my #1 transmitter, #1 receiver, #1 power supply. And that's pretty nice to be able to do that. And Steve, I'll bet you sent me a schedule and I missed it somehow or other. So if you got a schedule for the net control, I would love to have a copy of it so I can print it. My bird watt meter shows me I'm putting out 40 watts with this rig now that Steve has fixed it. And Mark, your audio sounds good. And Cliff and Chuck, it sure was nice to see y'all. I am so glad y'all made it to the luncheon. It was a lot of fun, and it was good to see you. So I'll keep it going. So N4AK in the group, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, K4VWD and the Old Friends group. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo. Temperature over here at sunset is 62 degrees, sunny. Been a beautiful day, no question about it. So I'm running a true boat anchor today. This is my rekitted DX100, the one I took apart completely and replaced tube sockets and everything. So I figured it needed a working out. So I'm on a D104 with a DX100 running 100 watts. Antenna is my antenna's in-fed 80 through 10, kind of in a sloping configuration. Receiving on a Hammerland HQ180 Alpha. So, and a special thanks to Charlie for delivering that little ICOM 7200 rig for me. I've used it several times checking into the South Carolina single sideband net. Put it in the workshop. So, Mark, everything sounds good here. You're a very good S9. There's just slow QSB, but that's because of our location. And Lee, your rig sounds good. Certainly sounds just like you. And I know you're happy to be back on your #1 rig. So, John, hope you copied me. KZ4B, N4AK.
Okay, very fine. N4AK in the group KZ4B. Very good. Everybody just about as the conditions are great tonight. Pegging the S-meter and just outstanding conditions, really. Couple of quick comments. Brian, your audio doesn't sound quite as good as the Globe Champion, and it might just be the mic. I wonder if you're using a carbon mic. Might comment on that. And it doesn't sound bad, but it sounds not as good as what I've been hearing. And let's see, Chuck, your audio sounds fantastic, but I detect a slight amount of hum in the background. It's not really objectionable, but it's there. And when I monitor my T150 that I hope to have on the air in the not too distant future, I'm so close to it, I'm hearing a little hum in the background. So if anybody hears it when I get that on, please let me know. I think it might be enough that it is objectionable. We'll just have to see. And let's see. I guess that's about it on that. We made it to Rock Hill, enjoyed it thoroughly. It was fairly windy. I had a lot of paper flying around, and it was slightly on the cool side, but nothing like it is today. And enjoyed it thoroughly. I picked up a 80 through 10 in-fed antenna, and it was put together, and so I may throw that up just to see how it does. And I have the question, Steve, perhaps you can enlighten me. I noticed that your in-fed and also Brian's, you have your bowline down almost at ground level. Is that something that you need to do? I was hoping I could put mine up on the roof and have a longish ground wire going down to grade level. And so I would appreciate comments on whether or not that's a good idea. And if it's a half wave and it's a high impedance, maybe, hopefully it doesn't matter. But please give me some feedback on that, because I am thinking about throwing that up to see what it'll do. And I spent the last 2 days after the Ham Fest and all day Friday, after the Ham Fest until the wee hours of the morning, helping my son move the rest of his, I'm tempted to say junk. There's a lot of furniture involved in kids' toys. That's where most of the junk comes from. But anyway, he wants to rent the house here, and it's quite a task because he's starting a new job tomorrow. Actually, he has 2 jobs. He promised the people he was a professor at UNCC, and he promised them he'd finish out the semester if they let him teach remotely via TV, and so that his replacement could get up to speed. and he's starting a new position with Duke, looking after their lithium-ion batteries. The very thing that's giving me a hard time with my next-door neighbor's solar panels, but strangely enough, there's zero radio noise tonight. I think because it's not early in the morning where the batteries need to be charged. Well, I think that's an adequate old buzzard transmission, so Charlie, it's time to wake up. W4MEC in the group KZ4B, over.
Okay, John. KZ4B and the old friends, W4MEC. Real good. Everybody's booming in here. Got great audio. Mark, your rig sounds good. Lee, your rig sounds good. Steve did a good job with that. Buddy, your rig sounds good. Everybody sounds good. Let's see. Well, it was 36 degrees this morning when I got up here, and last night about noon, about midnight, I had to go get my wife's plants in off the porch because they said it was going to be about 45 or 44, and they won't take anything below that. But it came down to 36 here. I got 3 thermometers. Let's see, I've got an electronic one on my heat pump, and I got 2 chemical ones, and they all agree within a degree, so I'm going to say it was 36. And it's about 53 right now. Beautiful day outside. Let's see, talking about critters, if you remember the lizard that traveled with us from Myrtle Beach to here, and we arranged to have it shipped back by a lady that was visiting up here that lives in Charleston. Well, it didn't make it back to Myrtle Beach, but it did make it to Charleston on Wednesday, and they released it into the backyard. And there's a pond back there, and bushes and grass, and there's woods behind it. So the little fella is back in a new habitat that does not get cold like it does here. I think it was an anole, A-N-O-L, I think is what the kind of lizard it was. They lived to be about 12 years old, or maybe a little older. And this one was a mature one, so he must have had some experience under his belt about how to keep out of trouble, except when it came to getting on a bumper and riding 300 miles. But he went back in a Tupperware tub with food, with crickets to eat and other stuff, and he had a good trip back. So probably the world's only 600-mile round-trip lizard. So. But he's safe. And it was good to see both Chuck and Cliff at the meeting. I'm really happy that you made the effort to get there. I know it was a 2-hour drive, I think, and just in one direction, maybe more, but it was really good to see you. And on the way back, about mile marker number 5 on 26, I gave Glenn the call. And because he was about 30 minutes from our meeting point, and exit 5 was about 30, and I pulled in there at the Duke Power little yard where they keep junk off of Highway 11, and I got the car turned around, backed in, and opened the windows and turned the motor off, and about 10 seconds later, Glenn came driving up. So we had a good exchange there and chit-chat, and talked to his wife a little bit, and I think they went on to Traveler's Rest to get some barbecue. So they made a good trip out of it. All right, over to Ray, W4VRO in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC and the net, W4VRO. Very good, Charlie. Well, thanks for bringing us up to date on the Knoll lizard. What an adventure. He will have stories to tell. It will have stories to tell. New friends to make in Charleston. Probably will never find his way back to Myrtle Beach. But I'm sure he will entertain a lot of people with his adventures. And Steve, quite an adventure with you and the beaver too. Maybe you'll see him again. Conditions are better this evening than I have seen on this net
during the mornings or afternoons or evenings since last winter. I mean, signals are really strong. I'm hearing everybody. And most signals are over S9. It's amazing. I don't even remember signals like that, and hardly. It's been so long. But Mark, you asked for a signal report and how you wanted to know how you were sounding. Well, you too are above S9. I'm about 50 miles south of Atlanta. And your audio sounds good. So sounds like you've got it working well. Lee, your number one rig is sounding good. The audio sounds good. So you've got it right. And well, that's about all the notes I had. It was about 44 degrees here yesterday morning at first light, about the same this morning, and got up in the 60s yesterday and today. Beautiful weather. I love it. So, I know I forgot something. By the way, Charlie, Glenn is always on time. You probably have already found that out, but Glenn is never late. He's right there. When he says he's going to be there, he's right there. So you can count on that. All right. Well, Steve, several regulars are not checking in today. Maybe they will check in late yet today. I wanted to say I wish George had checked in from Myrtle Beach. I can almost never hear him very well, and I think today I could hear him Q5. I think conditions are good enough for us to copy everything he says. Back to you, Steve. N4LQ in the group, W4VRO.
Okay, Ray. This N4LQ, and I'm drifting up a little bit. I noticed, Lee, you sound great. A little high in frequency. You were on 3717. I would never have noticed it on the PMR8, but I can see it on the Spectrum. I can see all kinds of bad things on the Spectrum. And by the way, if you guys will get on YouTube and look at this, I'll put the link on there, and you can see what your modulation looks like, get to hear it, see how strong your signal really is, and critique it yourself, determine what you need to do. Let's see, are there any late check-ins? Call now, N4LQ.
N4LQ. The gang N4QH on the DX60. New radio for me here today. Over.
Okay, N4QH. Wow. Good to hear you tonight. Go ahead and make a transmission for us, and we'll listen to that DX60 for a minute.
The DX60 and the HR10B rolling this weekend, and everything's looking good. I love this HR10B receiver, I'm telling you what, everyone on AM sounds awful good. And got this DX60 working pretty good, I hope. And into a dipole, I'm pushing out just at 60 watts right now. N4LQ and the gang, N4QH, over.
Roger, Lyle. All right, N4QH. Well, you're going to be tail end Charlie here. I guess you will come after Ray when he finally gets to his transmission. He's way down the list. But appreciate you checking in. Any more check-ins for the old friends net? Call now. Well, I guess that's about it. I'm not sure where Dave is. And George is usually here, but he's probably got something else going on. And, yeah, the lizard. Boy, I tell you, like Ray said, he's going to have a story to tell and brag about his vacation trip to Hendersonville, North Carolina, and tell about the weird ham radio operator he saw. Anyway, Brian, real fine on your son helping stack the racks there. Buddy, and your D104 ART13 sounds great as usual, and good to see the Tennessee twins from over there, Chuck and Cliff, Thursday at the lunch. And One bad thing about it, I ended up buying too much stuff. It was just like a ham fest. I think I was too anxious for a ham fest, but I've been having fun. I got the HQ110A, and that is a VHF model, by the way. It's got 2 meters on it, 6 and 2 meters. I've got it all cleaned up and aligned and sounding good, and put a new antenna trimmer on it, and that's a good radio. But yeah, I'll probably pass it along to somebody that needs a good AM rig. And next is the SX140 from Halcrafters that I need to tackle. That's a pretty good receiver too. So I really brought home the bacon from the luncheon. And yeah, let's see here. What else we got? Glenn and his DX100, and those new tube sockets, man, those are making it sound good. And John, KZ4B on the end-fed half-wave, yeah, don't put the thing, transformer, it's a transformer, by the way, don't put it near the house. Get it out there away from the house. You don't want a long ground wire because that'll just act like an antenna. Either put the transformer down at the ground or hang it up in the air and run coax to it and forget about it. But just keep the end of the antenna away from the house. It'll pick up all the junk in your house just like any antenna would. And you wouldn't put a dipole center near the house. That wouldn't be a good idea. It'll pick up internet routers and little wall warts and all that good stuff. And also radiate and entertain your security system. So let's see, Mark, you got to stop worrying about that audio, man. It sounds good. I mean, you got it. DDS BFO is right on frequency, just like it should. So nail it down, man. You could probably get closer to the mic. I even detected some room ambience there. It's like, not bad. It just sounds real hi-fi. Let's see. Any other comments I need to make? And Lee, I'll send you a schedule. I guess I sent it out to the Nets email reflector, and it's still out there. I'm sure it's still in your in bucket somehow, but I'll send it directly to Lee's email address. How's that? And the net time remains at 6:30 p.m. That's the final word that we decided at the luncheon. 6:30 p.m. for the net, and the time change. I guess this time, after the time changes, it'll still be daylight, and that's just fine. So it should work out just great for us. Okay, well, over to Brian for another round of GPR and whatever that thing is. Boy, yeah, 200. Did you say 200 watts? Poor little amplifier. You're gonna have to go easy on that thing. KN4R, N4LQ.
Hello, N4LQ in the group. KN4R, returning. Very good, Steve. Very good to everybody. Copying everybody just fine. And Mark, I agree. Your audio sounds awesome. So you don't need to be worrying about that audio anymore. Glenn, yours sounds great. Everybody sounds great. And John, are you saying you're on a T150 transmitter right now? If so, it sounds pretty good. And Steve, you've got the GPR90, and I have the GRC9. So there you go. And you know, this amplifier seems to be doing fine at about 200 watts out AM, Steve. That's what the meter says. But anyway, driving it with about 8 watts maybe. But let's see. Buddy, that's an awesome sounding ART-13. And I'm sitting out here in the garage with the garage door open, just enjoying the weather. And I am going to take photos of the Rodenswartz 400 watt sender as soon as I finish the net here. And apologize. I'll also send you some email with some documentation. So, and let's see. I'm on a different end-fed half-wave, by the way. This one goes north-south as opposed to the one I usually use, which kind of goes east-west. So, so I'm going to have to pull the cover off and see what's going on in there. In fact, that's one of the things I did. I moved some of the radios away from the Globe Champ today, and so that I can get in there and work on it. So that's the next rainy day project. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things. Oh, the weird thing about this GRC9 is got a delay. You hit the push the talk mic, and then you wait about 2 seconds, and then you see the power come up, and that's normal because they just take the, I guess they take the filament off the 2E26 tube, and there is a mod to fix that, and I guess I'll have to look into that. So anyway, that's it. Sorry for my rambling, but I am enjoying the net as well. So back to you, buddy. WB4ARK in the group. KN4R.
KN4R, WB4ARK. Okay, Brian. Well, let's see. Regarding the amplified D104, that Stan was asking about, I find that the D104 amplified works the best on the ART because with a slight adjustment of the amplified mic, I can set the drive to where it needs to be, which is very nice. And well, I'm sorry I missed the I didn't realize that it was Saturday, and I am sorry I missed that. I always like to go to that one because it's so close, and even when I lived in Charlotte, a friend of mine and I would always come down there to the Rock Hill Ham Fest. Been doing that for years. But it slipped up on me, and I just overlooked it. Let's see what else we got. Well, it was good to see Chuck with Cliff, and I guess that's about it. I was wondering where Dave might be today. He's usually on. I hope there's nothing wrong. The band is so quiet that we should be able to receive his signal without any problems. I don't think I've got anything else to go on about, so I'll send it on to the next station, and I'll say, Steve, thank you very much for doing the net, and I'll probably say 73 at this point and get ready for supper, because my wife usually has that done by now, so don't want to miss out on that. So over to Chuck, N4IYQ, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, WB4ARK, N4IYQ. And appreciate, John, you let me know about the hum. We'll see if we can figure something out, what's going on. And the trip down for Cliff and I was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. The worst part was got stuck behind a double wide that down there through the construction area on Iceville out towards Hendersonville, and he would not move over, even though I got right up on the escort vehicle's hind end. He just wasn't going to get over. But we had fun. We enjoyed the visiting as we went down the road, as I always do with Cliff, going to different ham fests and radio shows. And it's certainly a lot of fun. We'll check out the YouTube tonight, Steve, when you post that. And Brian, sorry to hear the Globe Champ's got issues, but I know you'll get it figured out. And Buddy, the D104 amplified mic certainly sounds good on the ART 1300. And Cliff out walking, geez, my goodness. I'm proud of you. I probably should have walked. We went to Grove Park Inn Friday night for the seafood buffet, and I eat entirely too much food, but enjoyed every bit of it. Then got up Saturday morning. There's a Ruritan Club over here that has a country breakfast. I saw Mark W4WWC over there. I had got all the kids and grandkids except for 2 of the grandkids that had prior commitments, and invited one friend that tags along on occasion. So we had 11. So I had a full table over there. And Stan, 59 degrees this morning sounds quite toasty. And IUQ, the AF-68 sounds great down this way. And Al, sorry you missed out on the Rock Hill Hamfest. Cliff and I made it last year, enjoyed it, and then went by, I'm all about eating. We went by Lito's Pizza and ate some pizza. And Lee, I'm glad you got all the number 1 back running. Certainly is sounding great up this way. Glenn, missed getting to see you, but the DX100 certainly sounds good up this way. And John, a little windy, and you said things blowing around at Rock Hill, but that's okay if it was not too warm. And I like the Lizard roundabout. It's certainly a good story. And VRO, you certainly sound good from south of Atlanta. And Lyle, the DX60 sounds good. So I certainly have enjoyed getting in here. We'll start getting a little more active as the cold weather gets here. I always miss Tuesdays and Thursdays because still working part-time even though retired. And it just doesn't work out that I can make the weekly net. So hope everybody has a great day, the rest of it, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, be blessed, and hope to see you next weekend. So I'll be listening for the remainder. WB4NKL, neighbor, N4IYQ. Go ahead, Cliff.
N4 IYQ, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Chuck. Good deal. And I think Dave was on Friday morning, and he'd had his staples taken out. He said he was a little sore from that, but I think he was doing okay then, so maybe he just had something come up here tonight. Because I'm sure we could have heard him with the good conditions. Wouldn't have had any trouble with him. And we'll say all the AF-68s are sounding out. I need to get one of mine back on the air. Maybe we could have an AF-68 check in, see how many we could get going. I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR. It's WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. WB4NKL, W4KR. By the way, Cliff, last time around, somebody mentioned you were humming. No, it's not hum. It's I think we can hear the fan. I assume you've got the Globe King on. I think we can hear the fan in it a little bit, but it's not objectionable. Let's see, buddy. I was staring at the pen adapter again, and because I've got it on a 27-inch screen, it gets shows a lot of detail, and that ART13 looks almost like an SDR rig. It's you've got the audio takes up the whole, just the right bandwidth. It's not all stuck in the middle. It's spread out across the band spread across the spectrum pretty well. Out about 4.5 kcs on either side, which is just about right. So well done. And okay on it being modified. I got it. Let's see. The trip to Spartanburg took me from Walhalla here. It took me about 2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. There were no stops along the way, and it was all 85 traffic. The east or northbound traffic on 85 was just ugly, and there were two complete stops. And one of them was about 15 minutes, and they finally dumped you off the road. And turns out there was an accident on the on the detour, so so I almost didn't get there almost until noon. John was going to bring a couple of tubes over for me, which he did, and I finally called him and said, yeah, I'm coming, but it's traffic. Anyway, we got there. And the other thing, Cliff, another item. You mentioned Ryan's before. Yeah, we've been at Golden Corral there for several years now. That particular Ryan's shut down. They apparently weren't having the business to keep it going. So, Mark, over to you. And you wanted to know how the rig sound? The rig sounded great. Doing just fine for you. And for IYQ and the Old Friends Group, this is W4KR Walhalla. We'll see everybody during the week.
Thank you very much. This is Mark, KG4IUQ. Steve, I'll take a look at the YouTube video. It'll be good to see that, hear it. I've figured out that I have your signal doesn't really have a tone in it. It's coming from over here somehow. I'm not really sure why, because you know how it goes. It's how it goes for me anyway. I go through all kind of things trying to figure them out. But I got rid of the kind of feedback squeal by putting my speaker on a relay. And I have this little, I call it a relay box, but it's really a breadboard that has several relays on it. And I'm switching the linear amplifier, the speaker, and the radio on and off, and the transmitter, I mean. And I'm switching this DDS VFO with a foot switch, and the foot switch also causes the relay box to activate or unactivate. And I have discovered something, you know. I go through, man, it's always something wrong with something somewhere, so I try all kind of things to figure out why. You know, sometimes it's relays put out a pulse that is causing my FET transistor to change the RIT, you know, switching that out. So I got that straightened out, and then I'm still getting a problem sometimes, and I figured out that if I stuff paper towels in the foot switch box, almost all of the problem with the switching is gone. So that foot switch is getting some kind of vibrations that are pretty much silenced, or you know, they're stopped by that paper towel in there. Everybody's sound is good. Steve, you're sounding good, except for I got some kind of tone over here going. I'm not sure why. But I'm going to try to figure that one out. Brian, KN4R sounding good. ARK, Buddy sounding good. Chuck, IYQ, you're sounding good. NKL, Cliff, you sound good. I don't have a meter on my radio yet. I'm going to try to figure out how to put one on there sometime. W4KR, Stan, sounds good. Al, YEV, great. And Lee, you know, I think you asked for a report. You sound very good, very strong over here. Glenn, AK, you sound great. John, KZ4B, you sound good. Charlie, you sound excellent. Always do. Ray, D-R-O, sounds good. And I heard Lyle, N4QH. I'm not sure, I can't remember how you were sounding there, but I heard you, and it's good to hear you. I'm going to turn it over now to Al, KJ4YEV.
KG4IUQ and net, this is KJ4YEV. Mark, I'll agree with what everybody else has said. Your audio does sound really good. Well, actually, everybody's sounding good today. The conditions are excellent. And everybody's got a really good quality AM signal. And Steve, I appreciate you putting those YouTube recordings on the internet there. It's rare that I get a chance to hear my own radio rig. I was listening to last week's net on there, and it sounds like I might be overdriving just a little bit. But of course, this DX60, the mic gain they put inside it, you have to disassemble it to get to it. I'll have yet to figure out why they did it that way, but that's how it is. And that's pretty odd that you saw a beaver out on your walk as well. Usually you don't see those things much. They're becoming a real problem at Crowder's Mountain State Park here in Gastonia. There's a lake there, and they've been cutting down trees and dropping them into the lake. So the park rangers have been trapping them and or catching them somehow and relocating them somewhere else. But I'm surprised to hear you say you saw one. I've never seen one alive in the wild, but I just see evidence of them, so I know they're out there. And with that, I'll pass it on to Lee, K4VWD from KJ4YEV. Go ahead, Lee.
KJ4YEV, this is K4VWD. Thank you, Al, and I thank everybody for the audio reports. I got this modulation thing set, and I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it alone. And Steve, I touched the dial here, and maybe I'm closer to frequency. It's showing 15139, so I'm up just a little bit, I guess. So, and Charlie, I sent you an email, and you sent me an email, and I sure am glad you got those parts, so everything looks like it's looking up for the amplifier. I don't know that I really need it, but it's something that's fun to play with. So thanks, Steve, for sending the schedule. I appreciate it. I have no idea why I missed that, but I sure did, and I'm going to hang around till everything's quit. But, buddy, the ART-13 sounds just fine. It sounds just like the one Charlie's got. So, boy, you know what to do with those things. I'm impressed. And with that, I'll keep it going. So, Glenn, over to you, N4AK, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, K4VWD, and the Old Friends Group, November 4, Alpha Kilo. And I'm certainly thankful the Lizard got back to its own QTH. And Charlie, you mentioned about on time. And Lee, you probably learned this too. I learned to be on time in the Army. If you ever get chewed out by some big colonel, you'll understand why you need to be on time. So luckily enough, the 25 years I was in X-ray business, I missed only one business appointment, and that's because I got in a traffic in I-85 coming back from Atlanta, so I guess I was lucky. John, KZ4B, asked some questions about mounting my antennas transformer. I have two of the antennas, both of them are 80 through 10. One of them is mounted about 15 feet off the ground at the corner of my house. It's mounted on a brick wall, and below is the Blue Ridge Power comes into the house, and their power ground is right there. So I'm grounded to the power ground coming into the house. And from the 15 feet, it goes up as a sloper to a tall tree, and the end is probably about 35 feet off the ground, and the end is aiming kind of northeast, and that's the antenna I'm on right now. So, Steve, I guess I'm kind of lucky. I hadn't picked up any noise on this one, so my house seems to be pretty quiet. The second one, I have it mounted about 1 foot off the ground. The transformer's 1 foot off the ground with a ground rod driven right below it. And then it's configured as an inverted L. And from the point on the ground, it goes straight up 30 feet and then bends over into the L configuration. And it works very well. And I find out that with the vertical component, oftentimes when I can't copy George on any other antenna at the beach, I can get on that antenna and I can hear him. So, and also on shortwave listening, AM broadcast bands in the evening come in much better on that antenna. So that's what you ask about experience with my antennas in-fed, and that's mine. So keeping it moving right along. Over to you, John. Hope you copied that. KZ4B N4AK.
Okay, N4AK in the group, KZ4B. Fine business, Glenn. I appreciate the feedback there. Yeah, I've never used an N-Fed, and I thought I'd give it a shot. Thanks a lot. Brian, I am not on the T150 yet. I'm still on the Eagle, Tentec Eagle, driving the Titan 1, and I did want to tell Steve I really appreciate the tip on the RF Sense TR switch, the MFJ17. I think it's an 08 Bravo. I finished wiring up the external relay, and that seems to be working okay, so I can key the amp and mute the receiver. But I haven't got the receiver in line to use it with yet. So I'm looking forward to getting that on the air and see how the control carrier it does with the AL-1500. Although I could probably use it. I've got a little Tentec Centurion, Centaur, I believe it is. It's the three. It's supposed to have 3 811s, but I got 3 Svetlana 572Bs in it, and it's totally bulletproof. I mean, you cannot damage it. Even an idiot like me can't damage it, and that's saying something. But that would give me about 150 watts of carrier, and those are good-looking little amps. I'm a big fan, although, you know, it doesn't have much more power than, say, a medium power solid state amp. And let's see, what else was I going to comment on? I can't think of what it is now. I'm going to say 73s on this one. Conditions tonight, everybody's pegging my S-meter, which is fantastic. And like I say, I can hear. I mean, life doesn't get any better than that. So, thanks for calling me Net Steve. And Charlie, it's your turn. W4, MEC in the group, KZ4B, clever listening. Did Charlie sign?
Okay, KZ4B in the group, W4MEC. Got a station that's checking in. You want to pick them up where, Steve?
Yeah, come back with your call sign there, N4LQ.
Yeah, N4LQ, thank you. I won't keep you because I know you guys are signing off the end of your net. My name is Mike. located in southeastern Ohio, new to the area. And I was just wondering what net this was, so I can make notes of it. Maybe sometime get the whole picture here. Anyways, my name is Mike, and my crew is KA7RCN. Over.
Okay, KA7RCN, Mike in Ohio. That's pretty good DX. We're glad to have you. This is called the Old Friends Net, and we meet right here on 3715 and have for many years on Sunday evening at 6:30 p.m. and on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And that's about it. Be glad to have you, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just was coming in here. I don't think I'd been on. I'm kind of new to the area, so I'm trying to figure out what band, what frequencies or what. I know the top end of the band is pretty busy. Anyway, I just came in here with some coffee. It's kind of chilly outside, and I was just listening to the plural signing out and some reports and whatnot. Anyways, I won't hold you. I jotted down 3715 at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, and it's called the Old Friends Net. I believe he said it was, and then also at 9 o'clock on a couple of days there, but AM, but I didn't get the days. So anyways, I won't keep you. Thank you for letting me barge in here and get some information. Over.
Yeah, okay. We got you, Mike. And is your email address on QRZ?
No, it's not on QRZ, but it's easy to remember. It's just my call at gmail.com. Over.
KA7RC RCP, I think it was, at Gmail. Okay, I'll send you the invitation to join up with us, and that way you'll get all the email. And Ohio is a pretty good hop from here. Most of us are in North and South Carolina and a few Georgia stations, but we'd still be glad to have you whenever you can pick us up there, Mike. So let's see, this is the N4LQ, the Old Friends Net, and I want to be sure we got, Chuck, if you're still listening, I want to thank you for the 2 cans of Mountain Lightning, the Walmart substitute for Mountain Dew. That's pretty good stuff. It does save you a few cents there to get that brand, I guess. Anyhow, so I think we've got time for a 73 round. Some have checked out. John KZ4B is gone, so Glenn will turn it to Charlie. I think that's about it. Everybody else is still hanging in there. And Brian, the GRC9, it sounds a little rough there. It's pretty badly distorted, and I was wondering, you said 200 watts. Is that carrier power? And if it is 4 times that, it's 800 watts. So either that or that's your PEP. I'm not sure. You might clarify on that. So let me check something here. I just got notified of something. RC, okay. Somebody informed me of Mike's call, KA7RCN. Okay, we got that down. Thanks a lot. So I'll turn it over to Brian for the 73 round. KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. N4LQ in the group. KN4R returning. Okay, well now I'm driving it. Instead of being on high power here with the GRC9, I'm on low power. And I'm on the 200 watt scale, and it's up around 120 or something like that. So anyway, hopefully the audio sounds okay. But again, this is a military rig, so but I am really enjoying playing with it here. And I've been sitting out here in the dark with the garage door open, and it just feels like I'm camping out here. So except I don't have a fireplace. But anyway, I have really enjoyed the net. It's been great. All the signals have been terrific, and the conversation has been great too. shortly, because I don't want to upset the hook, and I don't want to let you get off the hook here. So 73s to everybody. Have a great week. WB4ARK in the group. KN4R.
Yeah, buddy, are you still with us? Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Chuck, I believe, checked out. Cliff still there? Stan, W4KR. Go ahead and take it, Stan. Okay. Anybody? KG4IUQ, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Steve. Well, it's been a good net, and I guess sometime I'm going to figure out why I'm hearing it's like a heterodyne type sound coming out of, it has something to do with the RIT when it's turned on, and I'll figure that out. But everybody's sounding good here. It's been good to hear everybody. I'm gonna get off of here, and if Lee is still on, I'm gonna turn it over to, well, no, it's Al, KJ4YEV, KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ and what's left of the group. This is KJ4YEV. Thank you, Mark. I'll say 73. It has been a good net. I've enjoyed hearing everybody today. Really good band conditions. I love it when it's like this. So, pass it on the line. K4VWD from KJ4YEV, 73.
Okay, Al, thank you. KJ4YEV, K4VWD. Well, I could tell the Ohio station was in there using this PMR8 receiver, but I couldn't copy him, but it sure am glad he's in there. And it was good. We had a total of 15 tonight, and that's good. So, thank you, Steve, for doing the net. I appreciate it. And looking forward to getting my net control schedule. I'm sorry I missed it. I apologize for the problem. So, Glenn, over to you. 7-3, God bless everybody. Thank you for putting up with me. N4AK, K4VWD.
K4VWD in the group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. And I wonder, by chance, if anybody's heard any news, will the Israeli ham radio stations be knocked off the air because they're at war? I haven't listened on the bands today, but I guess at some point in time, somebody will make a decision about that. And Lee and others, we've been studying the book of Daniel in Sunday school, and there are a lot of predictions concerning Israel and some things that always go on over there, and it's kind of an interesting study of the predictions that were made. So God bless everybody, and I'm turning it over to you, Charlie, W4MEC and 4AK.
Charlie, let me make a quick comment. Okay, Glenn, we're studying Daniel in Sunday school also and talked about all that today. So thank you very much. I hope y'all enjoy it. Go ahead, Charlie, W4MEC, K4VWD.
Okay, K4VWD and 4AK W4MEC. Steve, when you picked up the KA7, you left off the rest of the list, me and Ray and Lyle, so you cut us off there. I was going to comment that with the cold snap, even though Dave is hopping around there, he might be called out on propane work this afternoon. People wanting to get their logs lit off. And a lot of times, George, K4GDN, he plays in a band at church, and he's probably at church playing music. So perhaps that's where they're today. So anyway, I had a SX140 also, Steve. I didn't think much of it. It was not very good, and you have to use a 3.5 megacycle crystal for a calibrator. And which is really sorry. The only band it really cows is 80 meters, and then it's off on the high end, and then when you double it to 7, all the, it just doesn't do well. Why they do that is a mystery. They put a 3.5 megacycle calibrator in there, not 100K. It just really makes no sense. So, but that's ancient history now. We'll see all you fellas on Tuesday morning, hopefully. And I'll turn it over to Ray if he's still hanging around. W4VRO in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie. W4MEC in the group, W4VRO. Glenn, I have not heard anything about the ham radio operation, and interesting that you're studying the Book of Daniel. That's very appropriate for these times. I could not copy K7RCN in Ohio Mike, but glad he checked in with us. Lyle, the DX60 sounds great. Really sounds good audio. It just sounds really good and a strong signal. So glad you checked in. I haven't seen you for a long time. I was trying to remember, but I think the last time I saw you was at Hartwell, Georgia Hamfest several years ago. So over to you, Lyle. Steve, thanks for calling the net, and good talk today. Enjoyed it very much, and especially enjoyed conditions and all the really strong signals. 73 N4 QH and the group, W4VRO clear.
Oh, yeah, they were good, Ray. W4VRO and the gang N4 QH. Well, yeah, real good, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just getting used to this little radio. 60 watts is all I got, and I think it does pretty good. So far, I've been playing with it last night, and now again today, so. And of course, we're just using a little old dipole, but I really like the audio response on this HR10 receiver. I mean, it is really great, and could hear that Denver in Ohio pretty well from here, so. At any rate, thanks for letting me in, and etc. And over to you, Steve. I think you're net control tonight, I do believe. N4LQ in the gang, N4QH.
Oh, yeah, that's questionable. Thank you, Lyle. And your DX60 is doing a good job here in Shelby, North Carolina. Okay, well, it's been a good net. I'll get all the email and the video and all that stuff done here and send it out. And we'll see y'all Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. here on 3715 for the Old Friends Net 73. And this is N4LQ, returning the frequency to normal amateur use.